why do you criticize Singapore, but you don't really criticize Australia? There's a few things that we need to be clear about when we discuss that. And those questions were asked of me by the psychologists and some of the ISD officers, the Internal Security Department officers. So one, it needs to be clear that I criticized the PAP, the ruling party in Singapore. I criticized the policies. That's the problem in discussing with a lot of these government officials. When you criticize government policies, or if you criticize the ruling party's policies, they take it as if you're criticizing the whole country. They equate the PAP with the government, not the government of the day, but as if it is the government, and that there's no change. There cannot be a change in that equation. PAP equals to government. You know, the PAP is the government of the day. Yeah, it's been the government of the day for the last 61 years, but it is still just the government of the day. It can change. There can be other parties that form the government, not the PAP. So we have to be clear about that. Criticizing the PAP is not criticizing the government as a whole, or the whole concept of government or governance in Singapore. But even criticizing the government, we have to understand that criticizing the government is not about criticizing the country. The government does not equate the country. So the problem with this equation is that because the PAP equals to government and the government equals to Singapore, criticizing the PAP becomes criticizing Singapore. It's not. I criticize the PAP. Yes, I criticize the PAP quite a bit. I criticize the PAP's policies. We should not equate that as criticizing the whole country or the nation. So we have to be clear about that. And another problem with that kind of question is it assumes criticism to be something bad, to be something negative. And this is what I told them. This is what I told them even in the first year of detention. I was detained for 4 years and 4 months. Even in the first year of detention, I told them that those of us who criticize the PAP, it's so much easier for us to keep quiet. It is so much easier. It is so much safer for most of us to keep quiet. Most of us, we do not gain anything by criticizing the PAP or criticizing the government. We don't gain anything. There's really nothing in it that we benefit from. Most of the time, when we criticize the government, when we criticize the PAP, we will lose something. We will get attacked. We will get abused. Some will lose their jobs. Our family lives are affected. There's really nothing to gain, a lot to lose, and yet we still do it. Why? It is because of a sense of responsibility to the country, of a sense of love and passion for the country, and that's why we're willing to sacrifice things that were important to us, because we wanted something better for our country, and that's it. It would have been so much easier for me to just have kept quiet. These things happen in the country. PAP's policies, some of them would... fine, there's a lot of good policies. Some are terrible policies. And we have to acknowledge that. And it would have been so much easier to just, you know what, keep quiet, not my problem. And then just make money and that's it. But then that's so irresponsible. So to keep quiet would have been so much easier. Would have been so much safer. But how can you keep quiet when something that you love, you see that they are all these silly things going on? So you sacrifice yourself, you sacrifice your reputation, you sacrifice so much because of that love for that country.